It's a scene few thought they would ever witness. An 80-year-old former president, once one of the most feared leaders in Asia, now sitting in detention in The Hague. Rodrigo Duterte, the man who built his legacy on a brutal war against drugs, is facing judges at the International Criminal Court. The charge? Crimes against humanity. For years, Duterte projected power. He spoke with defiance. He dared critics to stop him. He once said he would be happy to slaughter millions of drug addicts to save his country. Now the world is asking a different question. Did that rhetoric turn into a systematic campaign of killing? And should he stand trial for it? To understand this moment, you have to go back to 2016. Duterte wasn't a traditional politician. He was the long-serving mayor of Davao City, a sprawling southern metropolis where he cultivated an image of ruthless efficiency. He promised law and order, he promised safety, and above all, he promised to crush illegal drugs. His message resonated in a country frustrated with crime and inequality. When he ran for president, he didn't soften his tone. He amplified it. He told voters he would eradicate drugs in months. He warned criminals they would die. He told police they had his protection. And once elected, the campaign began. The so-called war on drugs swept across the Philippines. Police conducted nighttime raids. Suspects were shot during alleged buy-bust operations. Masked gunmen appeared in alleys and narrow streets. Bodies were left with cardboard signs reading, "Drug pusher" or "addict." Human rights groups say the death toll may have reached 30,000. Many victims came from the urban poor. Some were teenagers. Some were caught in crossfire. The police insist they acted in self-defense. Duterte insists he never ordered unlawful killings, but prosecutors at the ICC argue something different. They say this was not random violence. They say it was state policy. According to the International Criminal Court, Duterte may have acted as what they call an indirect co-perpetrator. In simple terms, a leader who uses others as instruments. Prosecutors allege he mobilized police officers and even hired hitmen to neutralize suspected criminals. They accuse him of involvement in at least 76 murders and charge him with 3 counts of crimes against humanity. Crimes against humanity is not a term used lightly. It refers to widespread or systematic attacks directed against civilians. The ICC says Duterte's campaign may meet that threshold. Duterte calls the charges an outrageous lie. But this case is not only legal, it is political. The Philippines withdrew from the ICC during Duterte's presidency. He argued the court had no authority over the country. For years, it seemed the case would go nowhere. Then came a dramatic shift. In 2022, Ferdinand Marcos Jr., son of the late dictator, became president, backed by an alliance with the Duterte family. But alliances in politics rarely last. Relations between the Marcos and Duterte camps deteriorated. Sara Duterte, Rodrigo's daughter and the current vice president, reportedly clashed with Marcos Jr. The alliance collapsed, and suddenly, cooperation with the ICC became possible. Last March, Rodrigo Duterte was arrested at Manila Airport. Within hours, he was flown to The Hague. His journey was documented in real time on social media. Videos from the plane, updates from aides, even images of his meals. It was a surreal moment. A former president, live streaming his own extradition. Now, nearly a year later, the ICC is holding a confirmation of charges hearing. Over 4 days, judges will examine evidence. After that, they have 60 days to decide. Is there enough evidence to proceed to a full trial? This is not yet a verdict. It is a gateway decision, but it carries enormous weight. Back home, the Philippines is divided. Families of victims gathered outside the hearing, holding photographs of loved ones killed during the drug war. For them, this is about justice long denied. But Duterte remains popular, especially in Davao. Despite being detained abroad, he won the 2025 mayoral race there by a landslide. His daughter is vice president. His son serves as acting mayor. The Duterte dynasty remains deeply embedded in Philippine politics. Supporters call the ICC process selective prosecution. His son Sebastian described it as moral superiority dressed up as justice. This is not just a courtroom battle. It is a battle over narrative. For the International Criminal Court, the stakes are global. Duterte is the first Asian former head of state indicted by the ICC. The court has long faced criticism, accused of disproportionately targeting African leaders. This case expands its reach. It tests whether the ICC can hold a powerful leader accountable for domestic policies carried out within his own country. The ICC has no police force. It relies entirely on cooperation from governments. Without political will, it is powerless. In this case, cooperation arrived, but only after political fractures inside the Philippines. There is another layer. This case is unfolding at a time when strongman politics is resurging globally. From Latin America to Eastern Europe to Southeast Asia, leaders promising order over rights have found audiences. Duterte built his appeal on frustration with crime and inequality. He portrayed himself as an outsider fighting elites in Manila. He spoke bluntly, often crudely. He cursed foreign leaders. He compared himself to Hitler. He was unapologetic. And for many, that defiance was part of his appeal. Now, as he sits in detention in The Hague, the question is no longer about rhetoric. It is about accountability. Are leaders responsible for the consequences of their words? When encouragement becomes action, when policy becomes bloodshed, where does political speech end and criminal responsibility begin? The judges at the ICC are not deciding history. They are deciding evidence. But the symbolism is powerful. An 80-year-old former president, accused of crimes against humanity, refusing to recognize the court, yet subject to its process. Within 60 days of the hearing's conclusion, judges will decide whether the case moves forward. If it does, the trial could last years. If it does not, Duterte may claim vindication. Either way, the impact is lasting. For victims' families, it is a moment of recognition. For supporters, it is a moment of grievance. For the ICC, it is a credibility test. And for the Philippines, it is part of a larger power struggle that may shape the 2028 presidential race. Sara Duterte has already signaled her political ambitions. The Marcos-Duterte feud is far from over. So what does this case really represent? It is not just about one man. It is about whether power protects forever. It is about whether international law can reach beyond borders. It is about whether domestic campaigns framed as law enforcement can cross into crimes against humanity. And it is about memory. The memory of those who died. The memory of a nation divided. And the memory of a leader who once said he feared nothing. Now history and judges will decide what comes next.